feel like it's finally good to be consistent again and actually get this stuff done. So I've decided to do the voiceover again, just because even though last time I didn't get very many views or anything like that, I don't really mind. I like doing the voiceover anyways. Without further ado, let's hop to it. So I decided to start with Wu Chang on this match because I honestly haven't played Wu Chang in a hot minute and I felt like that would be pretty fun. I have the S accessory and everything, and how the fuck did I miss that cowboy at the beginning? Holy shit. So as I was saying, I have the accessory, I have the skins. I decided to go with the free skin that came with that one event because I just really love how animated it looks. I really noticed afterwards that there's such a nice outline on it that I really like. So first target this match I decided on was Antiquarian, no particular reason. I think she was just the easiest one to go for. After a quick umbrella, I go over to go get her. She closes the pallet to extend the kite a little bit longer, but I do eventually catch up pretty quickly. She's just a bit of a pallet spammer. After breaking a couple of pallets, I end up eventually finally getting to her after about 2 failed hits. Surprised she didn't get the stun meter, honestly. I guess she didn't hit me against an object or an obstacle. So as I go to bring her to a chair, then I realize that there is a cowboy in this match and that I need to be extra careful because I know how annoying a cowboy can be. So I decided to go check the cipher, but this time I used the umbrella instead of just going there myself because obviously I don't want to risk that, and I knock out the mechanic's cell. As I'm waiting for the rescuer, I take a good look around because I see that I still have tinnitus, so I'm wondering where that person is coming from. And eventually I do see Acrobat and I decide to try to stun, but he hits me with his jump instead. Antiquarian was honestly not giving me too much trouble. I think she honestly made herself an easier target because of how many times she was trying to stun, and honestly, Acrobat could have body blocked a little bit longer instead of letting her do that, but he couldn't really control that. Light a quick firework as a celebration. Once she goes down, I pick her up to go put her on the chair. And once I try to do that, of course Cowboy comes in, so I had to go get her real quick. Quick stun to get him to drop her, and I go for a quick hit. Good blink there for once. As I pick up Antiquarian, I realize that's better to go the way that Cowboy's coming because that'll make it a little bit easier for me. Somehow did not get the hit on him there, but I almost did. As I go to finally share her again, I realize that Cowboy's still nearby, so I'm being very cautious of not letting him rescue like that. I know that Acrobat is also coming because Acrobat has been very consistent with rescues this match. I eventually do manage to knock over Cowboy during this all, so that's a very good thing, and it's actually a mechanic that comes to rescue. Acrobat does still come though. Mechanic gets the rescue, but I managed to siphon 2 of them at the same time, which is a great thing here. Get the Antiquarian down, which is always good. And as I go to cheer her, I'm also trying to keep a quick eye on Cowboy to make sure nobody can heal him. I see that Mechanic is trying to, and she does get the heal on him, so I have to go get Cowboy again. But then I chose to go for Mechanic instead after that pallet drop because she's just an easier chase. I definitely didn't want too much coding going on in this match, and you'll see that evidently at the top of the screen here on the HUD. I do decide to go ahead and release the Ret and Cowboy a little bit, and I thought that somebody was decoding there because I could hear a cipher. It just was not that one. This time I'm using sound cues a little bit better. I managed to down Cowboy again, which is great for me. That you're on your own kind of made me laugh, honestly. I'm sorry. Girl was pissed, I could just tell. I decided to slug Cowboy instead of putting him on a chair because I feel like it's just too risky to put him on a chair when there's one rescuer because eventually then it can all spiral and unfold in the wrong way. I pick up Cowboy just to do a little bit of threatening and try to hit Acrobat. You can tell now he's a little bit more cautious because I did that. I go to use my ability and then I switch to the white form because I realize I can try to siphon if he runs just far away enough for me to do that. I get a siphon regardless though, and instead of going after them too much, I do get a hit on Acrobat though despite getting stunned. I decided just to go for Cowboy instead of slugging him slightly longer like originally planned just because he's right there at the chair. I did not want him to heal too much. He gets up and I managed to hit him again and put him on a chair. But before I do that, I do go to see Acrobat for a few seconds just to see if I can get a quick hit on him. I don't manage to get the ability on him, and I missed my stun right there, which kind of sucks. So I decide just to go chair Cowboy before somebody heals him. They were very persistent with their healing with this match. I do have to give them that. Now I think they both sort of realize that they're both injured and there's no dungeons. They're a little bit screwed too. It probably would have been better to just ignore him and go to coding. Maybe they would have had a better chance, or maybe they could have healed, but I was too quick to notice Acrobat trying to come rescue again. I did not get the siphon on him again, but I did get a siphon afterwards. And I do go in and get another good blink, and I hit Cowboy. Mechanic tries to run mine. I think she literally just gave up there and just let me hit her. Yeah, because a Cowboy also hits that you're on your own again. I think he also realized that she gave up. She was making no effort to come heal. I think she was trying to crawl towards somewhere after this because you do notice that she moves. I put my umbrella again just to not risk any movements here. I did manage to get a good ability here, good stun, and I hit the Acrobat to go down. So essentially this match does end up being a win, but they don't surrender for once, which is very interesting. So you'll see a few seconds after this that I just spent some time emoting on the mechanic just for fun, not because of anything toxic. She was spraying graffiti, I was just doing some emotes, and I picked her up and put her on the chair. Even a little friendly spin, because I think she knew that she lost. I just hit a couple emotes just to be silly. As she crawls towards me, I know it's time to pick her up and not waste any more time, so I go to do that, and I give her a quick salute on the chair just to say bye. Good game, everyone. Good try. Really fun match, after especially a long loss streak I had before this, so I'm super glad I hit this pretty well. Now it only makes sense at one point that I just end up playing my main after especially that aforementioned loss streak that absolutely took some life out of me. Very painful loss streak. Glad to be playing someone that I'm actually good at for once. So as I go on my search of Bane to find my first target, I have to wonder something and ask everyone else if this happens to them too. Why is Moonlit River Park so common? Like really common. I feel like I roll this map like once every time I play a match. Very, very common. I'm not sure why. I don't feel like I see any other map as much as this one, except maybe Red Church. Had my last match been Red Church, I'd probably just reuse my old thumbnail background, which would have been kind of funny in hindsight. Regardless though, I decided to go search over here despite Tinnitus pointing me the other way, just because I wanted to see if there was anybody here. To my surprise, there actually was, so I hooked towards the building and go look. I didn't realize that Painter was crouching here, so when I hooked, that was like a complete surprise to me as well. Did I actually grab somebody? It only occurred to me like slightly afterwards that he was there. But now that I got after him, I started to realize that after the first hit and after that flywheel that he pulls off in a few seconds, that I need to start doing a camera manipulation trick. And so that trick ensures that if he puts down a painting, if my camera is facing downwards enough, I will not see the painting and it will not attract me. And so because of that, I will not get the stun. However, he doesn't get a chance to put down the painting, and I honestly thought that he was going to outstun here. However, my hook shockwave was fast enough, and I managed to down him. The shockwave ensures that there's like a slight pause for just even half a second, and that half a second is really good timing for me to just avoid getting hit. I decided to go put him in the basement since it was pretty close, but I didn't want to take too big of a risk, so I put him down on the chair regardless. But I didn't put him all the way back so that he wouldn't stumble out. And so now I go around placing down some traps just to try to deter people from coming over here. They're not the most ideal spots for me to put traps. There's obviously some entrances you'll see I walk to that I wanted to put a trap down, but I couldn't. Not sure why that person sent a sorry message, but that's kind of funny. I think in hindsight, now that I realize it, nobody was coming to rescue him, and so they just sent that to apologize. He did go down on 5 ciphers, to be fair. That is kind of an L. Sorry, Painter. Painter, I think, even realizes that too, and that he just says focus on decoding instead. Does not even ask anyone to come rescue him. What a goat. Once I realize that nobody's coming, I just start walking out to see if I can find anybody else, see if I can get another early hit. Painter's trying to warn everybody, but I think at this point it's too late for him. As I go back to the same building I found Painter, I end up finding Perfumer. I place down the peeper just so I can see her properly and see which way she can go. Now as I wrap around this window here, her perfume accessory here is such a pain in the ass to notice because I did not even realize that she put it down. Like, I did not realize that's what the perfume silhouette was. I've been seeing my fair share of the skin for a while now. I understand how it works, similarly to that one, I think entomologist asked me, I'm not sure which one it is, but the hood basically goes away whenever she gets hit. And now that I'm saying it, it's actually more similar to those Mungo Stray Dog skins, where when you hit, I think it's Prospector with that Chuya skin, I think it is, that his hat disappears when you hit him. Sorry if I got any names wrong too. I'm not very familiar with Bungo Stray Dogs. So now I get Perfumer over here with a very cheeky hit. And around this part is where I'm gonna realize that I thought this match was just gonna be like maybe a little bit of a more difficult win, or I guess a simpler tie. However, one decision and especially one persona trait that you're actually gonna notice with Perfumer will come into play pretty soon. If you look closely, you're gonna notice that she's missing something vital, so this prime does not really matter. I saw a little bit just to try to get that cheer limit, which does not seem to happen yet because Cheerleader is very good at stalling with those crouches. She does get the rescue, and once I hit her, Perfumer does not have her attack, so she did not get back up. Cheerleader, I think, realizes that a bit late, and she kind of gets nervous and runs away. However, she's still in the general vicinity, so I'm able to catch up pretty quickly. I'm able to hook her through the slight narrow passages of this little merry-go-round here. It's still funny to me that actually works because it looks like it shouldn't. I downed Cheerleader here, and Composer made himself a little bit too obvious. I didn't even know he was here until he ran past. It was like a split blink and you'll miss it kind of run in the middle of the match, and I got like absolutely jump scared. Hooked him through that little narrow space and got his ass, and they surrender. That was a pretty good match though, good game. Quick shameless plug here, trying a new outro, but if you liked this form of content, please let me know. Like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment if you can. I really appreciate all the support that everyone's giving me on these. Even if the views are not very high, I still really appreciate any form of interaction. I'll respond to anything. Thank you so much again, and I hope you enjoyed it.